All right, so today's video we're going to talk about how many carbs you need for fat loss versus muscle gain. Before we get into it, I want to say happy holidays to anyone who celebrates Christmas and happy New Year's in advance to whenever you guys are watching this video. For the new year, I'm going to try to be more consistent, but I think I said that to you guys, so I'm going to stop saying it and I'm going to start doing it. Now, anyway, back to the original premise of the video. So, everybody's like typically one of the most asked questions is how many carbs should I eat? And the problem isn't that the problem is that people are either eating too much or cutting them too low. There isn't like a perfect number because everybody's like different depending on what your goals might be. So I'm just gonna break this down as simple as I can and as simply as possible. So perfect example is like carbs for fat loss. We'll start there because typically when most people ask that because like they want to know like how much carbs they may still have while still losing weight, right? So if your goal is weight loss, carbs aren't the enemy. Excess calories are. Like starting from a good range is at about a 1 to 1.5 grams of carbs per body weight. Meaning if you're like 200 pounds, you want to do 1.5 or 1 per times of per body weight. Meaning you want to do anywhere between 200 to 250. That sounded like a tongue twister, but I'm basically saying if you train harder, you can push it a little higher. If you're less active, you could do it a little lower essentially. Cutting carbs too low normally like affects you. Like your headaches, your workouts aren't good, and fat loss slows down. Now, part two, carbs for muscle gain, right? For bigger meals, fuller plates, heavier compound lists. For muscle gain, carbs matter more because they fuel your performance and they recover, right? So a good example would be for muscle gain, you want to do to one 2 to 3 grams per body weight. I don't know why that was as hard as it had to be. But I'm basically saying so you want to do anywhere between 400 to 600. Now that seems like a lot, so I wouldn't advise it. But I think a 2 is a good metric. Like I don't think anyone needs 600 grams of carbs, like unless you're on steroids. But typically, like most people watching stuff, they're like natty people, right? So the most highest I'd ever go is 2. But if you really wanted to push it, you could do 3 times. But I just think that's a stretch, and I don't think you need that. Now, anyway, the more harder you train, the more carbs you can handle. More work, more fuel. So if your workouts feel bad on a bulk, carbs is probably what you're lacking in that place. Now, here's the biggest issue where people make mistakes. They pick a number, they stick to it, and they never adjust. If your weight isn't moving for 2 to 3 weeks, the carbs need to change. Your body adapts. Adjust, don't guess. That should be the motto for 2026. Adjust, don't guess. Anyway, if you stayed this long, I appreciate you. Now back to the original point. Your carb quality does matter. There's this such thing as clean carbs versus junk carbs, meaning there's good rice and there's pastries. Most of your carbs should come from like simple foods, rice, potatoes, oats, fruits, not like liquid calories or like processed snacks. Like your food choice matters. Like let's say I have like quinoa and sweet potato. That's a lot more better than me having like a whole pizza from Domino's, just because like the carb intake is a lot different. Now, when it comes to like your training overall, like this is the advice I give for when it comes to your training, like overall. For fat loss, you want to do 1 to 1.5 per body weight. For muscle gain, you want to do 1.5 to 2. You could really do 3, but I think 3 is just excessive, and I wouldn't advise it for most people, honestly. Because if you're like 200 pounds, I'm not going to tell you to have 600 grams of carbs every day. Like you're going to look like a balloon within a week. That's an exaggeration, but I'm basically saying like I think 2 is a good metric. So you want to adjust based off progress, not your feelings. So overall, to make this like easy for you guys to understand is like you want to have a full like routine of when you do things. Like I think you should always try to do something for at least 8 to 12 weeks before you just objectively were like, oh, okay, this isn't gonna work. I need to do something better. Like I think you should try to like try something out, see how you will react, see how your body reacts, and like how I said, you want to adjust based off that. Anyway, hope this helps someone. If you guys want like a more detailed setup, or like not a more detailed setup, if you guys want like a full macro setup, like protein, carbs, and fats, let me know down below. I feel like I've had videos like that, but if there's something you guys don't understand and you want me to go into more detail about it, just let me know and then we can go from there. Hope this helps.